Ja, grüezi Freunde. Heute sind wir wieder da mit The Darkest Files. Nicht sicher, worum es geht. Wir springen direkt rein. Hoffentlich kriegen wir direkt den Lore-Dump ins Gesicht, natürlich. The events of this game are based on true crimes committed during the Nazi era and investigated in the young Federal Republic of Germany. With the exception of Fritz Bauer, the names of all those involved have been changed. Any similarities with existing persons of the same name are purely coincidental. Oh, grundgültiger, okay. Also sprich, okay. Wir gucken mal, worum es geht.
Frankfurt, West Germany, 1956. 11 years after the end of World War II, many crimes of the Nazi era still go unpunished. The perpetrators of these crimes are walking free. Many judges, prosecutors, and police officers have already served under the Nazis. Now they have no interest in prosecuting their former comrades for actions similar to their own. For the victims of these crimes, this is unbearable. To end this, Attorney General Fritz Bauer establishes a special unit of young prosecutors with no ties to the old regime. I am Esther Katz. I am one of these prosecutors. We are investigating Nazi crimes and bringing perpetrators to justice. Not to avenge, not to heal, but to show that there are laws that apply to all. It doesn't make us popular. Most want to forget. Some want us to shut up. But they cannot stop us. Nothing belongs to the past. Everything is still present and can become the future again.
Wundere mich, habe ich irgendwas verpasst? Ich dachte, das Game hat kein deutsches Voice-Over, muss ich dazu sagen. Aber vielleicht kommt es noch, weil es klingt ziemlich eindeutig eingesprochen von jemandem, der definitiv als Muttersprache Deutsch hat. Von dem her nicht ganz sicher. Aber gut. Wir spielen es auf Englisch, ich hoffe, das ist okay so. A New Job, 3. September. Oh, das ist ein 3D. Ich dachte, das wäre so ein... Okay. Müssen wir mal gucken. So Settings, Moment. War ich dumm? Nein, Moment, wir müssen ein bisschen Sensitivity runter, ne? Okay, das ist zu viel. Okay, das ist zu viel. Ja, da war aber auch irgendwas mit der Bundesdeutschen Medienanstalt oder so. Brandenburg, glaube ich, war dabei. Guckt euch mal an. Das sieht eigentlich geil. Der Grafikstil ist ja mal insanely gut. Gut, die Schatten sind jetzt natürlich nicht unbedingt realistisch, aber müssen ja, glaube ich, auch gar nicht sein. Warum leuchten das hier? Das sieht ja mal geil aus. Guck mal hier. Ein Magazin mit irgendjemandem drauf, den wir natürlich nicht kennen. Das hat einen sau nicen Grafik. Guck mal hier, das ist Archiv. Gehen wir hoch. Weil wir nirgendwo anders hin können. Wohin sollen wir sonst gehen?
Anybody here? Not much of a welcome party.
Guck dich das mal an hier. Oh, das hat so einen richtig geilen Flair, meine Güte. So Film Noir-mäßig. Das ist ja mal nice. Simon Peters, Prosecutor. Okay. Und Conference Room natürlich. Okay, hier sind wir auch natürlich noch. Fritz Bauer, okay, gut, das ist unser Homie. Christoph Wohlmuth. Ja, gut. Klopfen wir mal an. Oh. Paula Fischer. Wie? Also, warte mal. Also, ich kann mit dem Maus wählen, okay. Hello. Good morning.
Oh, hello. Good morning. Sorry I didn't hear you enter. You must be Miss Katz, right?
Must I? The right office then.
So it is my office. Good. Had me worried there for a moment.
Oh, yes. Of course, yes, it is. I was just... yes. Paula Fischer. Hello. I'm a legal assistant here for Mr. Bauer's team. Well, the legal assistant. You're a bit understaffed at the moment?
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, Paula.
Oh, it's my pleasure, believe me. I've brought you this week's newspaper and a letter that arrived for you. Anyway, I should probably be going. I'll be at my desk if you need anything. You'll find me. Or through the intercom. We just had the whole system installed. It made my life so much easier.
When will Dr. Bauer arrive?
When can I expect to meet Dr. Bauer?
Mr. Bauer wants to talk with you once you've acclimatized. His words, not mine. He should be arriving soon for that matter, so should the rest of the team.
I see. Very well then. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on our team, Miss Katz.
All right then. First encounter, check.
Hm.
Time for me to settle in.
Okay, also die Sprecherin davon ist auf jeden Fall, hat zumindest einen leichten australischen mit drin, ne? Also da ist irgendwas austral. Guck mal, das sieht so gut aus, ne? Guck ich mal das an. Ah, ich weiß nicht, es hat einfach so dieses, so leicht minimalistische, dieses dunkle. Es ist aber jetzt nicht unbedingt Horror oder so. Aber ein Horror, gut, das erinnert mich an Bendy and the Ink Machine dann, ne? Wenn man das hier Horror machen müsste, ja.
The last holiday we spent together as a family. I'm so glad Dad made us do it. Franz was such a show-off that summer. Always trying to impress the girls. I wish you were here, Big Brother.
Das ist also sie, das ist ihre Mom, Vater, das ist Franz, nehme ich an. Okay. Ah, okay.
Look at that. Written evidence of all those sleepless nights. And the ton of coffee. But here I am. I finally made it. Pretty sure it was all worth it.
Ja, gut, da hoffen wir doch.
A new job deserves a fresh journal, ready to be filled with notes and tasks.
Ja, kann ich es aufmachen? Nee, kann ich nicht. Oh. Telefon.
Hello?
Mr. Bauer is ready for you. He says at your own time. With him, that means as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'd better get going then.
Good luck.
Will ich das hier noch angucken, was ist das? Okay, da kann ich nicht. Also, my dear daughter, my heartfelt congratulations on your promotion. Being a state attorney of... Being a state attorney at... Nicht sicher. Of 30. At the age of 30. Okay. That is not a small feat. Okay, well, was auch immer. Aber wer es lesen kann, kann es gern lesen.
No signal. The line must be dead. Maybe I should talk to Paula about it.
Okay, wir sollten beim Dude vorbeigucken, dessen Namen ich schon wieder vergessen habe, weil mein Gehirn fucking Sieb ist. Ah, hey Paula.
Miss Katz, how can I help you?
I tried to use the phone before, but it looks like the line is dead.
Oh, I'm afraid your phone hasn't been connected just yet.
Oh.
It should be done by next week. Sorry for the inconvenience. The intercom works though, so you can always talk to me. Do you need something else?
Paula, where can I find Mr. Bauer's office?
It's the door on your left, at the end of the room.
Ja, okay. Da wollen wir auch genau hin.
Miss Katz, welcome to the front line.
Frontline?
The front line, Dr. Bauer?
Just mister. We're working together here. And it's where you are now, at the edge of the enemy land. Believe me, when you leave this office, you'll enter hostile territory. My name, as you already know, is Fritz Bauer, General Prosecutor. Much to the displeasure of the public, I insist on investigating the many crimes committed under the NSDAP. Most of them, of course, have long since gone cold. And nobody out there truly wishes for us, for you, to solve them. Or frankly, to even touch them. A rather thankless job, may I say. Are you up for it?
I understand.
I'm well aware of this.
You see, I'm not entirely sure of that.
Oh.
But no matter. Miss Katz, I believe I have the perfect case for you to start with.
I'm listening.
Hans Naumann, an older gentleman, shot just before the end of the war.
What do we know?
What do we know about the case?
According to the victim's wife, Her husband was taken by uniformed men for no reason. He never came back. His body was found in a forest nearby after the war. Shot in the head.
Was investigated before. Ich muss ehrlich was dazu sagen, das ist nicht ungewöhnlich. Ich glaube, da kennen viele Leute definitiv auch noch solche Geschichten.
I assume this isn't the first time she brought this case up?
No, it's not. Miss Naumann reported her husband's death to the police. A case was opened. The public prosecutor's office investigated members of the NSDAP local group. They're suspects. However, no charges were pressed. Based on the investigation, Hans Naumann was lawfully executed.
And how did they reach this conclusion?
That you can learn from the documents. The first thing that I'll need you to establish is why Hans Naumann was taken. Depending on the answer, we'll see if the case warrants a full investigation. I asked Mrs. Fisher to prepare a file. It should probably already be on your desk. I suggest you familiarize yourself with it and invite the widow to give a statement.
Okay.
Mrs. Fisher should be able to help you with that.
Right. Look at the files, invite the first witness. I'll need a refresher on the Nazi hierarchy. Understanding the chain of command will be crucial. Paula did say to ask her if I needed anything.
Okay, reden wir mit ihr.
How can I help you?
I need some additional files.
Something specific?
I need more details regarding NS organizations. Chains of commands, ranks, and badges. Anything you can get your hands on.
Klingt wie ein Plan.
Of course, I'll get right to it. Anything else?
I need you to invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Ludmilla Naumann, the victim's widow. I want to hear her version of what happened.
Of course. I'm on top of it. Anything else?
Thank you, Paula. That will be all for now.
Here if you need anything. Oh, by the way, did you talk to your colleagues already? They should still be in their offices.
Oh Gott. Wie kann ich also überhaupt meine Tasks checken? Help. Oh. Ah, okay. Warte mal hier, Moment, Radial Menu. Ach, wer packt das denn immer auf mittlere Maustaste? Welcher Sack? Nein. Ah. To do. Say hello to my colleagues, get familiar with the case file. Ich muss ehrlich sagen, die Dialoge sind noch ein bisschen arg.
Oh, hello. Oh, please, forgive the mess. I'm afraid I didn't have the time to clean up. Miss Katz, right?
Ja, das ist richtig, so heiße ich.
Esther Katz, nice to meet you.
Pleasure is all mine. Christoph Olmuth. Christoph, preferably. I try to be on first name basis.
Is that usual here?
Not from what I can tell.
Let's stick to the usual then, shall we?
We are a small team. I'd love to tell you that we are small and tight-knit, but, well, happy to have more people join the fight. Especially someone like you.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, you're a woman.
That's a very astute observation.
Right. Sorry. What I meant to say is, you're a woman and a prosecutor. That didn't sound better.
Not really.
Right. Well, high time. That's it, in short. Right. Again, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
I'm looking forward to working alongside with you.
Okay, der Arme, wir haben... Ich meine, wir wussten alle, was er meint natürlich, aber es ist so... Ich könnte es mir da nicht verkneifen, ihn noch ein bisschen in die Bredouille zu bringen. Der Conference Room. Okay, wir klopfen doch an, ja. Simon Peters.
What are you doing here, Katz?
Getting reacquainted with my new coworker. I had hoped so, at least.
You know perfectly well what I mean.
I don't.
No, it seems I really don't.
Why are you here, Katz? Not in the room. Here. Working for Mr. Bauer?
I could ask you the same thing. Last I remember, you were looking for the easiest way to climb the ladder.
Touché. I suppose since you're here, you won't be going anywhere for some time. Not anywhere up, at least. And there's enough trouble here without all this.
Do I sense an apology coming?
More of a truce. Don't push it.
Very well, as long as you keep to it.
Katz, welcome to our little hell.
Peters.
Okay, den kennen wir also irgendwoher schon. Das ist interessant. Ich muss ehrlich sagen, ja, die Dialoge sind ein bisschen arg. Ja, steif, würde man fast sagen. Also es ist nicht Optimum. Aber gut, wir gucken uns mal an, was haben wir denn hier? Case File. So. Take the category left side of the screen. Das hier? Ich muss ja lesen. Oh Gott. Okay, also fangen wir an. Ja. Dear Mr. Baustian, the investigation... Baustian, huh? Okay, merkwürdiger Name. The investigation into the death of Hans Neumann from Munich has revealed that he fell victim to a violent crime. For details, please see the attached file. We were able to identify 4 possible suspects who were connected with the victim's disappearance. Faltmann Alfred, Kiebitz Hermann, Schickert Karl und Schwarz Herbert. Die generischsten Namen, die du dir vorstellen kannst, aber das ist die Idee, I guess. The police investigation is considered closed, and we hereby officially turn the case over to your prosecutor's office. If you encounter any questions during the examination for indictment, please do not hesitate to contact us at any time. Okay. Police report on May 10th, blah blah blah. A dead body was reported to the police in a wooded area near Munich. The deceased was identified Hans Naumann, age 77. The autopsy revealed that he was killed by gunshot to the forehead at close range. No other injuries were found. The victim's widow filed a criminal complaint against unknown persons. August 8th. Okay, das ist aber sehr lange Zeit, oder? Weiß nicht. He had observed 2 men pick her up her husband on April 28th. Okay. He has been considered missing ever since. The 4 suspects identified in connection with the victim's disappearance were interrogated. All suspects testified that the victim was guilty of treason and therefore lawfully executed. The evaluation of whether crime has been committed in the authority. Okay, gut, bla bla bla. Ah, Gott, noch mehr. Okay. Report on record, Mr. M. Mittermoser, block warden. Block warden Mittermoser saw a man climbing up the block's flagpole, attempting to tear down the Reich flag and replace it with a white flag. Mittermoser ordered the perpetrator to stop and attempt to apprehend him. The perpetrator attacked him and fled the scene. The block warden is injured in result. It is certain that they recognize a young resident of the block, Jan Naumann, and the perpetrator. Measures taken. Local group leader Faltmann immediately set up a detachment to arrest and interrogate the suspect Naumann. Gut, ja. Okay, Plenary Proceedings. Okay, das ist also jetzt schon 2 Jahre später fast, nachdem er gestorben ist. Gegen die Leute Manslaughter. Dear Miss Naumann, in the above-mentioned proceedings we made the following decisions. Proceedings shall be discontinued to... Shall be discontinued pursuant to section of the criminal... Okay, was auch immer. The reasons. The victim Hans Naumann was a communist insurgent who carried out highly treasonable actions in wartime situation. The execution of the victim, Hans Naumann, was carried out according to the law in force at the time of the crime. With kind regards. Legal basis. The proceedings against A. Faltmann, H. Kiebitz, Schickert, blah blah blah, were discontinued based on the law stated below, except from article of the basic law. An act may be punished only if it's punishable by law before the act was committed. Anyone at home or as a German abroad, hostile part in the war, bla bla bla, okay. Also, gut. Aber ich weiß nicht, woran die das festmachen. Na gut.
There's nothing left for me to do. I should call it a day.
Ja, aber ich meine, es ist ein bisschen sass. Ich weiß nicht, warum sie es erst später angezeigt hat. Und ich weiß nicht genau, vielleicht Vielleicht muss da eine gewisse Zeit dazwischen sein.
Miss Katz, how can I help you?
I need some additional files. The victim was supposedly involved in rebellious activities. I'd need information on the state of the resistance around Munich in April 45.
Of course. I'll start looking. Anything else?
Thank you, Paula. That will be all for now.
Here if you need anything.
Kann ich das angucken? Achso, das ist einfach nur der gleiche Case-File. Okay, also das bringt mir nichts. Okay, also von dem her, ich könnte jetzt dann... So, was sind meine Notes, To-Dos? Wir haben schon alles. Also das sind die Leute, die wir im echten Leben kennen. Okay, also wir haben natürlich dann einen gewissen Fallelement. Okay. Ah, wir können leider nicht... Okay, crazy. Aber die Ästhetik gefällt mir sehr, sehr gut. The Widow.
Miss Katz, good morning. If you'd have a moment, I got you the files you requested.
Good morning, Paula.
An overview of the Wehrmacht, police, and NSDAP, just as ordered. As for the resistance, there was a group around Munich at the time, called themselves Freiheitsaktion Bayern, Bavarian Liberation Action. I did get my hands on one of their leaflets. They must have annoyed a lot of people back then. There was even a specific order to shoot everyone who took part in their actions. It was part of the legal justification for the original verdict. I added them all to your file.
Great. I'll get started on them right away.
Mrs. Naumann should be joining us later today. Not a morning person, apparently.
Thank you, Paula.
Oh, one more thing. They finally connected your phone.
Oh, sehr
It's
schön.
working all right. You even missed a call. I wrote down the number for you.
Okay, auf in unser Büro. Oh. Ach fuck, ich hab das Dialog extra geskippt. Das tut mir natürlich leid.
Who do I want to call?
Nimm mal Paula.
Esther Katz speaking. I was called from this number.
Oh, Esther, my dear, so good to hear you.
Ah, das Papa.
Dad? Where are you? What's this number?
I'm at home. We got a new number. It's unlisted. Your mother hopes this way we'll receive fewer client calls. I hope I'm not disturbing you, dear.
I'm busy, but I can always make room to talk to you.
Oh no, it's all right then. You should return to your work. If you ever feel like talking, you can always reach out to me, dear. My hard-working daughter. I'm proud of you.
Ich wünschte, ich hätte einen Vater, der mir sagt, dass er stolz auf mich ist. So, was haben wir denn hier? State Structure, also gucken wir mal her, ne? Das ist ja der interessant. Guck mal hier, der Reichsleiter, das hier, ne? Weiß ich, ist zwischen den Mützen ein Unterschied? Vielleicht die Insignie oder so, nicht sicher. Gut, hier der Gauleiter mit 2 Dingern. Deputy. Arbeiter. Okay. Following his appointment as Chancellor and NSDAP's victory in the 1933 elections, the party structure began to intertwine with and subsume that of a state apparatus. While state and regional governments were not outright dissolved, their significance and authority were heavily diminished in favor of the Gaue, regional associations of the NSDAP. At the head of the Gau stood a Gauleiter. Yeah, blah, blah, okay. At the facility of these goals, the Gau authority often overlapped and overruled that of local officials. Okay, ja gut, das macht natürlich Sinn. Heer, okay, das ist das Heer. With the German rearmament and the establishment of the Wehrmacht in 1935. Moment. Versucht dieses Spiel mich gerade da auszutricksen, mehr über Geschichte zu lernen? Wir müssen mal gucken, ob das Ganze geschichtlich akkurat ist. Ich hoffe doch, das Ganze ist alles geschichtlich akkurat, weil so viel Zahlen und so weiter, ja, gut. Okay, ja, aber das ist ganz lustig. Geschichte ist ein lustiges Thema, deswegen. Was equally expanded in the preceding years, nearly tripling in size from 7 infantry divisions to 21. Was ist eine Division? Steht leider nicht, ja. The year was further expanded following the announcement of Hitler's plans for rearmament, with the introduction of universal conscription and the recalling of the officers who served in World War I. They would swear fealty personally to the Führer. By September 1939, the size of the heer reached a total of 75 divisions. Schutzpolizei, Protection Police. Okay, ich meine, gut, die sind ganz nett, ne? So, the State Protection Police, Schutzpolizei, was the uniformed police in the majority of German cities and major towns. As a division of the Order Police, its members were easily recognizable for green uniforms and colloquially referred to with this color. Oh, das wusste ich jetzt beispielsweise gar nicht. This is the State Police were divided into branches for the beginning of the war. Okay. Oh.
Paula?
Mrs. Naumann just arrived. I showed her to the conference room.
Thank you. I'll be right there.
Where's the conference room? Yeah.
You must be Mrs. Naumann. Thank you for coming. My name is Esther Katz. I am one of the prosecutors in Attorney General Bauer's team.
Good morning, Miss Katz. I am very grateful that you found the time. The last prosecutor who looked into my husband's death didn't even speak to me. He
Die ist ein bisschen arg leise.
Claiming my husband was rightfully executed as a traitor.
Did your husband do anything for which he could be accused of treason?
Of course not. The men that took him weren't even looking for him.
Sie waren auf der Suche nach seinem
I
Sohn.
see. I know
Oder
it's
ihrem
not
Sohn.
easy, but please take me through the day your husband was taken.
It was in April 45, only days before the Americans came.
Where were you that day?
Home. We lived in a small house. Hans was upstairs when the doorbell rang, before someone hammered against the door.
Interacting memories by focusing... Oh.
Did you see something outside?
It has been a while, I'm not exactly sure. There was a car, I think. Yes, one of those big, terrible trucks that they used.
I remember them. They were just everywhere. Do you remember what time of the day it was?
We just had lunch, so it must have been close to 1 p.m.
And what was Hans doing?
Fixing our roof. Trying to. A stubborn oaf. I always told him to be careful and let our son help him. You're not young anymore, I said. But he always knew better.
Das ist eigentlich ganz nett, dass man hier in den Erinnerungen interagieren kann. Ist noch irgendwas?
When you opened the door, who was it?
There were 2 men. One of them was pointing a gun at me.
Was für ein Arsch. Oh Gott.
Did you and your husband live alone?
No, there was also our son Jan. He insisted on staying with us to help around the house, at least until the end of the war. But he wasn't in. He went out in the morning before we woke up.
Do you remember what they looked like?
Both wore uniforms. Brown ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Did they belong to the Wehrmacht?
No. Not Wehrmacht and not police either.
Klingt nach SS.
Maybe some kind of party officials or something. One of them was small, thin. He wore glasses, I remember that. The second man was bigger. He was the one pointing the gun at me. He seemed to be in charge.
What made you think that?
He had 2 golden stripes on his uniform, and he was bossing the small one around. He yelled and waved his gun around to scare me. They demanded to speak to Mr. Naumann. The gun was still there, and I was just so afraid I couldn't even move. They demanded to know if there was anyone with us. When we said no, the smaller guy looked in the other rooms. He found no one. It was only Hans and I. Then the big one told Hans that he had to come with them for questioning.
Did they say
shit,
why they were questioning him?
No, they did not. They ignored Hans when he asked for their reason.
Ich meine,
And everything happened so fast. The small one said they'd let him go if our son would turn himself in. Then they just herded him out, like an animal.
in memories. When you visit, you can move around, interact with multiple objects to learn more. Ach, ich wollte mich umgucken nach oben, was da oben ist. Ah, das ist ja mal cool gemacht, ne? Ah, gefällt mir gut.
This was the last time I saw him alive.
Ah, cool, gut, ja.
Me and my son never got the chance to say goodbye.
What was that man's comment about your son?
Jan. He was living with us at that time, but he didn't show up that night or the following. He got into some trouble. Bad trouble.
Do you think the men were looking for your son?
I believe so, yes. At least that's what they said. But
Wait a second. I think it was mentioned somewhere. Please, take a look.
oh God. Here it is. He recognized him as Jan Naumann. I can't believe there was proof all along. And the former prosecutor just dismissed it. How could he?
I wish I knew. I am really sorry. Please, continue. What happened upon your son's return?
When Jan finally came back, it was already too late. We asked the authorities about Hans, but they pretended not to know anything. After war, my husband was found dead in a forest nearby. Shot. I believe he died the same day they took him.
Sehr
I would
wahrscheinlich, ja.
really like to talk to your son about it.
You and I both, dear. But I am afraid that's not possible. Jan died only a few months after his father. Pneumonia.
Oh, das ist...
Hans was innocent. They killed him, and that's murder. No matter what they call it.
I hear you, Mrs. Naumann.
Please, Miss Katz. Will you find the man?
Natürlich.
I promise. I will find out who is responsible for your husband's death.
Thank you.
We will let you know if we have enough for an indictment. Please, Paula will help you to the door. Goodbye. I should update Mr. Bauer.
Hello, Miss Katz. Any news regarding the Naumann case?
Yes, I think so. After talking to Mrs. Naumann, it seems like Hans Naumann was indeed innocent. The men were looking for his son, Jan Naumann. When they couldn't find Jan, they took Hans instead, the father.
I assume that's what Miss Naumann told you. But are you sure she is telling the truth?
According to the files, the man they were looking for had climbed up a flagpole, torn down a flag, and beaten up a block warden when he was caught in the act. Hans Naumann was 77 years old at the time. Of course, there are older men who are in good shape, but...
Pulling down a flag and beating someone up seems unlikely. I understand.
Yes.
I see, but why did the man take him, if they knew he was innocent?
According to Mrs. Naumann, they took him as a hostage. They were hoping his son, Jan, would surrender once he learned that they had his father.
Highly illegal, even back then. Not uncommon, though.
Yep.
But why did they shoot the old man?
That I don't know yet. But I believe this is definitely a case for us.
It is, indeed.
So what happens now?
I will officially reopen the investigations tomorrow. You need to find out who was at the crime scene when Hans Naumann was shot. We need witnesses.
I'd start with the names mentioned in the files of the first investigation.
Excellent. Let's get this case to court, Miss Katz.
Time to invite the suspects. And it would be good to know more about them.
That poor man. And that poor woman. She lost everyone she loved in a matter of a few months.
Gut, das stimmt natürlich.
I really hope we can help her.
I hope so too.
Anything I can do?
I need you to invite a potential witness.
I've got something that might help us with them. I looked into the NSDAP local group from the original investigation. Only a few documents survived the bombing, but I found a group photo and a member list from a few years before the incident. And who should I reach out to?
Let me get back to you, Paula.
Sure, just let me know before you leave. Miss Katz, how can I help you?
I need some additional files.
Something specific?
The member list is helpful, but I'd still need something more about our suspects. Can you get me their files?
I'll reach out to the Berlin Document Center. But, just so you know, they tend to take their time.
Nothing for...
Here if you need...
Okay, wir müssen mal kurz rausfinden, wie genau... Haben wir schon irgendeine Beschreibung von den Leuten? Suspect Background. Herbert Schwarz. Okay, warte mal, also die Männer. Economy, Smaller Man. Ist Frage natürlich jetzt nur, ist jetzt hier, also ist es schon logisch irgendwie angedacht oder so, ne? Warte mal, also das heißt, wir wollen Faltmann oder Kiebitz, glaube ich. Ja, inviten wir die mal kurz, ja.
Miss Katz, how can I help you?
I need you to invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Please invite Mr. Kiebitz.
We'll reach out immediately. Anything else?
Thank you, Paula.
Here if you need anything. Miss Katz, how can I help
Oh
you?
shit, ich wollte...
Thank you, Paula.
Here if you need...
Ah, okay. Today's newspaper, check on my colleagues. Ah, okay, warte mal. Das Ding hat ja auch noch eine soziale Komponente. Wo kriege ich eigentlich das Newspaper her? Ah, guck mal hier. Blattzeitung. Okay. Globe Kiss, Unsettled Past. Elvis Presley, Please Hold Me Tender. Okay. Nuremberg Race Laws was raised last week. So, okay. Ah, okay. Ich meine, also, ich müsste mal nachgucken, wie akkurat alles hier ist, aber das wirkt schon ziemlich gut.
Esther, right? Sorry, Miss Katz. To what do I owe the pleasure?
Taking a break?
A short one. Luckily, it's a slower day. I'm just so sorry about the mess here. I got a bit lost in a lecture. Either way, forget it. What can I do for you?
I had some questions, if you don't mind. Can I ask you a few questions about the work here?
Ask away.
I was a bit surprised we are not at the main office.
Right, Bauer's idea. To put it simply, he was and still is afraid of sabotage. Too many people there he wouldn't trust. Files went missing, evidence got misplaced. So he decided to rent this place and repurpose it. And here we are.
I think that's all for now.
Don't be a stranger.
Ja, wie gesagt, der Dialog ist noch ein bisschen arg steif oder so. Aber an sich, ich finde das super gut gemacht. Also, wenn die Informationen alle korrekt ist und so weiter, dann auf jeden Fall. Das hat ja auch mehr so was Visual Novel-mäßiges. Ich mag aber, dass man so ein bisschen trotzdem noch so in der Welt rumschlawenzeln kann. Ich weiß nicht. The first suspect. Uhaha.
Good morning, Miss Katz.
Moin. Na?
Miss Katz. Miss Katz.
Oh. A Prussian welcome. Suez-Krise. Next Federal President. SS for the Armed Forces, what? Oh. Ja, gut, ne? Oh.
Miss Katz, excuse me. The witness you asked me to contact, Hermann Kiebitz, he has just arrived.
Thank you, Paula. I'll be joining you in a minute.
Oh, in the conference room.
Good morning. My name is Esther Katz.
A pleasure, miss. Could you tell me how long I have to wait for the prosecutor?
Mr. Kiebitz, I'm the prosecutor here.
Oh, modern times, I guess. How long will this take?
Ich meine, du merkst original, der hat absolut keine Lust auf uns. Aber ich muss ehrlich sagen, also der Voice Actor, ne? Das ist ein ASMR-Mic, glaube ich. So.
It will take as long as it takes.
It's all right, miss. I'm just asking.
Let's get started, shall we? This is about the arrest of Hans Naumann in Munich on April 28, 1945. According to a witness, two men picked up Mr. Naumann from his apartment. Were you one of them?
You're pretty, you know that?
Mr. Kiebitz, were you one of those men?
No, I wasn't. We drove to the house. Then our group leader and Mr. Schickert got out of the car to arrest the man. Then they tossed the old man into the car and headed to the district office. After we put him in the cell, I waited in the hallway talking to Mr. Schickert.
The district office. Where was it located?
We just had moved it into the basement of an old brewery. Still stuffed with beer bottles and barrels. The higher-ups decided it would be a safer place for us. With all the Yank air raids, Group Leader Faltman went into the district leader's office.
What was the name of the district leader?
Herbert Schwarz.
Could you hear what they were saying?
Only after they came out of the office. District Leader Schwarz came out and gave the command.
What command? What did he say?
He ordered us to execute the man. Then he left. I felt uneasy. This wasn't right.
What were your local group's responsibilities in the very last days of the war?
We were responsible for all concerns and for many households within Munich. We followed Group Leader Faltman to the cell. There was tension.
Why did you relocate the office?
Because of a big air raid. We wanted to be underground. We hoped that we would be safer there.
I can still hear the sirens in my head. They seem to last forever. But it may just have been a minute full of despair, if you survived it.
Können wir kurz noch in den einen Raum hier rein? Da können wir natürlich... Ich finde es ganz cool, dass wir auch in den Erinnerungen von dem...
How did you ensure the energy supply?
The district struggled to produce enough energy. There were frequent power failures. For emergency, we had a generator. If worst came to worst, we used oil lamps.
With the district office being a brewery, you helped yourself to the stocks?
Of course not. How could you assume something like that?
Could you describe the cell?
Very basic. Mattress, window, chair.
Ja, oh Gott. Das kann jetzt echt ein bisschen brutal werden, oder?
What was Mr. Faltman doing?
Group Leader Faltman seemed to hesitate. He shared my concerns about killing the old sod. He told us to wait. Yet Schickert insisted. He referred to that new order about dealing with insurgents. He was such a stickler for the rules.
Wait a second. These orders you're talking about. Are you referring to this?
Yes, exactly. He was very vocal about it.
Very well. What did he say?
He insisted that any delay would constitute treason.
Ja. Na gut, okay, aber... Ich hätte jetzt eigentlich eher noch irgendwie so eine Verhandlung gesehen, aber das Ganze zieht sich jetzt gerade schon ein bisschen. Ne? Wir machen noch ein bisschen voll, aber...
Were the compartments prepared to host prisoners?
Kind of. We adjusted them, so our prisoner could stay there for interrogations and not get out. The tension was strong. Group leader Faltman ordered us to wait once more, but Schickert drew his gun and shot him.
Wie kam er denn in den Wald? Oder wurde er nicht in dem Wald gefunden?
Were there any other prisoners at that time?
Obviously, yes. We had to put the traitors somewhere. We adapted part of the storage rooms as cells.
How many people were in your local group?
Around 10, but we were never all present at the same time due to shifts and different responsibilities.
So what you are saying is, Schickard shot the old man against Mr. Feldman's order?
Exactly.
That's horrible.
These are brutal events you're getting to hear here. Are you sure you're up for it? Honestly, no one would think this is a job for a woman. What do you have to prove? I will file a formal complaint.
That will not be necessary, Mr. Kiebitz. My superior knows quite well that I am up for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have this job. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kiebitz.
Goodbye, Miss Katz.
I should update Mr. Bauer.
Der Typ ist ein bisschen ein Widerling, aber klingt zumindest halbwegs. Ich weiß nicht, es ist so. Er weiß halt so ein bisschen die Schuld von sich und dem anderen Dude, was echt ein bisschen sus ist, ne?
May I have a word?
Ah.
I got something that might help you. So, I have done some digging beforehand.
Okay.
Yes?
And found something potentially useful for you. The brewery's blueprint. I put it in your office, on the cork board. I thought it might help you to have more of a physical understanding of the crime scene.
I'm sure it will. Thank you, Paula.
Corkboard? Ja, das ja. Ah, okay. So. Welcome to your reconstruction board. Your task is to reconstruct your own theory of the crime by completing statements of witnesses. Okay. The blueprint displays a crime scene, a cellar where the victim was killed. All people involved are placed as figures on the board. The timeline. Crime is divided into 5 steps. Displayed here is the timeline. A substantial part of your reconstruction is to decide who was where and did what in each step. Okay. Start editing. Let's start editing. Click on the tools to... Okay. Kiebitz. Your own theory. Try out. Select the figure of Mr. Neumann. Neumann. Placed for the firm stand. Does not always match each other. On the right, you can see how each of them describe the events of the step. You only interviewed one suspect. There's only one version. You can view it by selecting the suspect in the window on the right. Spoke in the hallway with Mr. Schickard while Mr. Feldman was in the office with the district leader, Mr. Schwartz. The one. Place the figures in step 1 as the witness described. Feldman, Schwartz in the office, Naumann in the cell, Kiebitz and Schickard in the hallway. So the first step of your theory. Nicely done. Time to move to the next. Select the second step of the timeline. You see the witness statement changed to step 2 as well. Position your figures again according to the move Schwartz and Feldman to the hallway. Now there is moving your theory. Let's watch it. Press the button and hit pause once you've seen enough. Okay. Great, you're already halfway there. Besides reconstructing the movement of figures, for some steps it's important to know who has done what. Okay. To bring the case to court, you need to answer Mr. Bauer's questions. You find them here on the right. The answer, you have to assign actions to your figures. On some steps above the timeline, you see these little indicators. This means there is a question connected to it. Go to step 2 and reopen the edit menu. The bottom right is the question connected to the step. Who gave the order to execute the victim? Select the figure and ask the answer by pressing. Okay. So, wer war das nochmal? gives order. Does it match what your suspect says? Ja. Das sieht so aus. Undo and redo. Okay, gut, das macht schon Sinn. Action Icons. Ne, Movement, okay. Okay, gut, das ist natürlich jetzt nicht so interessant. In your building your theory, however, you do not know yet whether the witness you question was telling the truth. If you want to return later, just close the board and change it will be saved automatically. Okay, gut. Cool. Das ist auch cool gemacht. Das gefällt mir super. Ich meine, ich mag ja diese Detektivspiele generell, aber das hier gefällt mir schon sehr, sehr gut. Auch weil es die Qualität hier einfach extrem gut ist. So.
Miss Katz, what brings me to the honor of your visit?
I interviewed our first suspect. Have you read the transcript?
I did. How did it go?
Well, this Mr. Kiebitz. Let me put it this way. I have met newts who were more likable.
But we're not having a sympathy contest, are we, Miss Katz?
Haben wir nicht, nein.
No, of course not.
I know how you feel, but I can say from experience, it's better to ignore it. Besides him being an unpleasant fellow, what do you think about Mr. Kiebitz?
Kiebitz says he saw how his colleague Schickert killed Mr. Naumann. And according to him, Schickert shot even against the express order of the superior Feldman.
And he's telling the truth?
Maybe, maybe not. At the current stage of the investigation, it is impossible to say conclusively.
I agree. This means you have to investigate further. Of course, what he says could be true, but he could also try to cover up his own involvement.
Yep, das
Either way,
vermutlich.
I see 3 further questions we need to answer. First question, who shot Mr. Naumann? Who did pull the trigger? Was it really Mr. Schickert who pulled the trigger and executed the victim? Or is Kiebitz lying? Second question. Mr. Kiebitz claimed that his superior, Feldman, had refused the order by District Leader Schwarz to execute the prisoner. It might be relevant to clarify whether this is true. And thirdly, the witness testifies that Mr. Schickert threatened to inform the Gestapo about the insubordination. Whether this is true or not is up to debate, but either way should be investigated. Threatening others could be considered coercion in court and, in case of doubt, also affect the verdict. If you found an answer to all of these questions, we should be able to build a solid case.
Ja, good luck, Miss Katz. Ja.
Miss Katz, how can I help you?
I need you to invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Please invite Mr. Schickert next.
We'll reach out immediately.
There's nothing left for me to do. I should call it a day.
Miss Katz, how can I help you?
I need some additional files.
Something specific?
Any updates on the suspect's personnel files?
I've made the request, but no news since then.
Okay.
Berlin's as silent as always.
Klassisch deutsche Bürokratie. Im Schneckentempo. Aber gut, das haben wir auch erwartet, ne? Okay, ich glaube, dann haben wir die Zeitung schon gelesen. Okay, wir machen bei unseren Kollegen, wir machen jetzt, glaube ich, noch einen Tag. Also wir reden jetzt noch mit Karl Schickert und ich glaube dann, aber das passt dann. Aber das Ganze ist jetzt schon ein bisschen arg lang. Aber gefällt mir bisher super gut. Ich finde den Artstyle extrem nice. Visuell, es macht super viel Spaß. So. Es ist halt mehr so ein Visual Novel, muss man dazu sagen. Also wenn man... Ja. So. Aber es hat auch irgendwie diesen Look. Ich weiß nicht, der gefällt mir sehr, sehr gut. Dieses leichte...
Yes, Paula?
Mr. Schickert, the witness you wanted to see? I'm afraid he arrived a bit early. He's waiting for you in the conference room.
Already?
I know, I told him he might have to wait.
All right, I'll go join him now.
Of course, good luck.
Mr. Schickert, I didn't expect you yet.
Arriving on time means you're 15 minutes late.
Sehr deutsch.
Very traditional.
Nothing wrong with good traditional values.
Thank you for coming. My name is Esther Katz. I am the prosecutor in charge. I'll cut right to the chase. What happened on the 28th of April back in 45?
So, you're finally reopening the case, aren't you?
You seem excited about this. What is it to you?
Let me put it this way. I still have a score to settle. It is time for some gentleman to answer for what happened back then.
Just to be clear, you are referring to?
Kibitz and local group leader Faltmann.
So, your superior and your colleague. What had happened?
On that day, Faltmann, Kibitz and I had captured an alleged insurgent. We had taken him to the district office and locked him in a cell. It was an old man.
Was his name Hans Naumann?
It's more than 10 years ago, but I'm pretty certain that this was his name, yes.
What did the district building look like?
It had been moved to a brewery because of the air raids. There was an office, individual cells, and a long corridor lined with boxes, barrels, and bottles.
Please describe the situation.
I was in the hallway with Mr. Kibitz, while local group leader Faltmann was in Schwarz's office to report to the district leader.
Okay, also zumindest ist sie checked aus, okay.
Can you tell me more about your local group?
We mainly wrote reports and helped in the district where help was needed. Shortly after, the two men came out. Pointing to the cells, the district leader gave the command.
What kind of command?
He ordered us to shoot the prisoner.
Okay. Also der Fakt, dass er natürlich hier noch ein bisschen, dass er eine Rechnung offen hat, auf der einen Seite natürlich ist es interessanter natürlich, aber könnte auch
The
sein...
district leader returned to his office together with Mr. Kibitz. Mr. Faltmann asked me to follow him. Together we walked down the corridor to the cell where the old man was kept.
Oh, okay, also hier haben wir die ersten Unterschiede. Okay, also der andere hier folgt dem hier. Okay, also Herr Kibitz. Okay.
Describe the cell to me.
Small and dirty, with a narrow, barred window just under the ceiling. Not that the prisoners in here deserved much more. They were there for a reason. Most of them, at the least.
What did Mr. Faltmann do?
The group leader raised his voice.
Do you remember his words?
He told me to shoot the prisoner.
And did you shoot the prisoner?
No, I did not. The man was clearly innocent.
You did not? Really? Just like that?
Not just like that. I refused the order because the prisoner was not the man we were looking for. He was accused of... what was it again? I remember someone mentioning it. And me thinking...
Just a second, I have that somewhere.
Welcher war's?
According to this block warden's report, Mr. Naumann had torn down a Reich flag and beaten up the block warden.
Yes, that was it. Look, the man we had captured there. I'd have counted him lucky if he was able to get out of bed every morning. Besides, group leader Faltmann himself had said earlier that we had only taken him hostage. Him and Kibitz had hoped that the perpetrator would turn himself in if they held the old man hostage.
Why did they assume that?
Because the perpetrator was the son of the old man. That's what they believed, at least.
So they had hoped the son would come to get his father released?
Exactly.
But you didn't think their plan would work?
Doesn't matter what I was thinking. You can't just go and take a fellow German hostage.
How did your superior take your refusal?
Not well. He yelled, and I argued.
Was hast du geargued?
Do you remember your words?
I told him that it made no sense and that we should refrain from doing that. Group leader Faltmann then threatened me. He said he'd report me to the Gestapo, that I would be severely punished, possibly killed.
But you still refused.
I did. I just couldn't do it.
Also ich meine...
Did prisoners ever stay longer?
A couple of days maximum. They were here for interrogations.
How did you make sure you had enough electricity?
We had a generator for power outages. And oil lamps. I left the room. Outside the cell, I met Kibitz, who was about to enter. A gun in his hand. Cocked. The next thing I hear is the shot.
Aber das klingt ja fast, als ob er mich erschossen hat, aber es macht ja eigentlich keinen Sinn, ne?
I'm sure the group members had a drink here from time to time. After all, the building was probably still full of beer.
Okay.
So what you are saying is that Mr. Kibitz shot him.
He did indeed. I know it.
But why would he do that? What was his reason?
What do I care about his reason? What he did was wrong. That's why I'm glad the case has been reopened. You break the rules, you get punished. That's the way it should be.
We will make sure the right people face the consequences, Mr. Schickert. Thank you for coming in.
The pleasure is all mine. Goodbye, Miss Katz.
Interesting. The suspects contradict each other in multiple aspects. I could use the reconstruction board to get a better idea, or update Mr. Bauer. I can also just call it a day. I feel a headache coming. I should still at least ask Paula to invite the last witness.
Now that was quite an interesting development.
Richtig, ja.
Somebody sure is lying. But who? Can't say I envy your job right now, Miss Katz.
Nee, gut, es ist halt...
Before I forget, there was another call from your father for you.
Oh.
Wanted you to call back. Apart from that, how can I help you?
Could you locate the third suspect, Alfred Faltmann?
I'm on top of it. He should be arriving soon. Anything else?
Are there any updates about the personal files?
I suspect I already sound like a broken record. Sadly, no news yet. Anything else?
Have you seen Miss...
Oh no, he didn't come in. I think he's following a hot lead right now. I even remember him mentioning a contact in Argentina. Can you believe it? Argentina!
Ja gut, natürlich kann ich das
That
glauben.
sounds very promising.
Anything else?
Thank you, Paula. That will be all for now.
Here if you need anything.
Danke, Paula. So. Okay, dann lass uns erstmal kurz das Rekonstruktionsboard hier einarbeiten. Also. So, now that you interview two witnesses, you can see that they contradict each other in some of the steps. Genau. Switch to step 4 and enter edit mode. This time you have access to two versions of the events. Expand them to read how the descriptions for the current step differ. Okay, also ich kann nur einen aufnehmen, okay. Now rather than moving all figures by hand, you can simply apply their versions of the current step by using the preview function. Select the statement you want to preview and then click the icon preview button on the controller. Wo ist der Preview button? Ah. Onto the board. See how the figures on the board now match the description. Hit the confirmation button to apply it to your theory. Then press play to watch it. Should check your case for to find evidence to support their claims. Keep this in mind and press. Okay. Also mal kurz durchgucken. Also das ist dann für eine. Okay, aber das funktioniert doch gerade nicht. Wieso funktioniert das nicht? Okay, also hier kommen wir mal. Die beiden unterhalten sich, die beiden kommen raus. Dann das hier schwarz geht zurück ins Office. Dann gehen Kiebitz und Faltmann hier zu Naumann in die Zelle. Und dann laut ihm ist Schickert. Und dann Pom. Okay, Ich muss ehrlich sagen, das macht halt nicht so viel Sinn, ne? Weil wenn wir jetzt mal kurz objektiv angucken, was genau für Statements machen, ne? Mate Mr. Schwarz, District Leader Schwarz, genau, also District Leader. Genau, also bis hierher stimmt alles. Also bis hierher stimmt einfach alles. So, dann. Mr. Falmer ordered Mr. Schickert and me to follow him into the compound as no one is held captive. Mr. Faltman saw the victim and refused the order. Okay, also Moment, ja. Also bei der Variante zum Beispiel, also da labern die beiden kommen raus, ne? Dann gibt er die Ding und Kiebitz sollen mit reinkommen. Okay, dann gehen die zurück ins Office. Dann gehen. Wait. Okay, da gibt der Befehl. Oh, okay. Ich meine, also die Story von Schickert. Die von Schickert wirkt zumindest plausibler, weil die hier. Oh, das ist eigentlich eine gute Frage. Ich finde immer noch, wir haben nicht genug Informationen, ne? Weil es ist halt Aussage gegen Aussage, genau. Ja, gut. Ja. Mann, aber was ist denn am wahrscheinlichsten hier? Who resisted the order? Ah, okay. Bin ich mir noch gar nicht sicher, du. Da bin ich mir noch nicht sicher. Also, er soll noch telefonieren.
Who do I want to call?
Katz.
Hello, Mom. It's Esther.
Esther, my darling. How nice of you to call.
Could I talk to Dad?
How rude of you. Don't you want to ask your poor old mother how she is?
Ugh, I'm sorry. You're right. How are you, Mom?
Terrible. My only daughter never calls. And when she does, she only wants to talk to her father.
Das ist David, so Ding.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Dad had called, and I was supposed to call him back.
It's all right, my dear. I'm just kidding. I know that your job is important to you, and unfortunately only your dad can help you. To answer your question, your father isn't home. You'll have to make do with me, but you're calling at just the right time.
Am I?
You are. I just invited the Müllers for coffee this Saturday. You have to come. I'm dying to show off my smart daughter.
Who are the Müllers? Do I even know them?
I don't think you have met them yet. They just moved into the piano floor of the house opposite.
Oh, did the Webers move out?
No, the other house. The Langs. You remember the Langs, right? Thomas Lang, he used to work at the bank.
What the hell? Oh, going goodie. Jetzt haben wir natürlich unseren eigenen Memory Flashback. Oh, Junge. What the fuck?
You used to play with their daughter. Black hair, a ponytail, always got her dress dirty. I just can't remember her name.
I really don't know who you're talking about. Anyway, I can't this weekend.
Oh, what a pity. The Müllers are really nice people. And they have this good-looking son.
Mom!
All right. Just mentioning it. No ulterior motives.
Genau, natürlich.
Another weekend then. Are you free the week after?
I need to get back to work now, Mom.
A shame. Thanks for your call anyway. Get back to me soon, will you?
Sure. Bye, Mom.
Goodbye, Esther.
There's nothing left for me to do. I should call it a day.
Kein Kommentar auf der Memory, auf dem Flashback. Nein, kein Kommentar. Okay, na gut. Dann halt kein Kommentar drauf. So. Das ist ja auch mal cool.
The man was clearly innocent.
Group leader Falkman seemed to hesitate.
I just couldn't do it.
I felt uneasy. This wasn't right.
I met Kibitz.
But Schickert drew his gun.
A gun in his hand.
Back then, everyone was an ardent Nazi. Now they all claim to have resisted, doubted, hesitated, to have said no. Trouble is, somebody must have said yes. 2 suspects, 2 accounts. Both would have us believe their innocence. Both would point towards the other. But who tells the truth? Let's hope our final witness can offer some answers.
Esther Katz. Are you Jewish?
Okay. Ich hatte jetzt echt gehofft, dass wir noch irgendwas mehr davon sehen, aber okay. Ich meine, also meine Idee ist einfach, ich glaube, das Kiebitz das Ganze war, persönlich. Einfach nur, weil in der Erinnerung von der Witwe, sah es zumindest für mich so aus, als ob es eben er und Faltmann waren, die den alten Mann abgeholt haben. Und ich nehme an, dann war der letzte, ich habe den Namen vergessen, Schickert, dann war der zumindest im Truck und hat dort gewartet. Die haben ihn dort eingebuchtet und so weiter. Aber das hier, das ist ein Banger-Game. Also muss ich ehrlich sagen, von den ganzen Demos, die ich bisher gespielt habe, extrem gut. Wunderbar. Wunderbares Game. Kann ich jedem wärmsten empfehlen. Spielt's selber. Hat echt einen geilen Flair. Ja. Aber ich hoffe, das hat euch auch gefallen. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Haut da rein.